Hello everyone, welcome to another London Open webinar. Let's have a quick look at the market. So, looking at the screen here, we can see the headlines that what has been happening on the last, let's say, 10 hours or so, and we saw some good moves later yesterday on the dollar. The dollar went lower a little bit with some news regarding the Trump impeachment inquiry. And that pushed the dollar a little bit lower. We saw a really good move on cryptocurrency space yesterday. We saw Bitcoin, for example, dropping 15% or so. We saw as well the RBNZ came out. They didn't do anything else. They didn't cut more, but they kept the option to increase what they are currently doing already, which means cutting more if they need in the future. So it looks like they will do that in the coming decisions. And yeah, so we not yesterday was quite a bit boring, let's say, in a way that, yesterday we could see here that we were pretty much, locked in the dollar index here. We could see not much, but then later in the day we saw the dollar really going down. But here we are in the middle again. So what this, for me, it's very clean here. What this, what what can you do here? And for me, it's a triangle, just because the market is not making any new lows, not even new highs. So we are pretty much in a range or a triangle, which for me looks like more as a triangle. So for me to really start trading Forex, especially the majors, I need to see this getting broken first, because trading before that, I think it can be very difficult because, for example, you might say that we are, at resistance here because we are testing, pretty much to a Monday's low, now resistance, but then it came here, you sell it, but then the market can continue to up to here. Or if you think it's going to reach there, the market reverse from here and then goes straight away. It's very difficult. That's what I'm trying to say. So, me personally, I'll be waiting for this to break first, and then go with what the market's currently doing. But this for me here is going to be my trigger to trade the forex, the majors. Okay, for now, keep that in mind. And if you want to know more detail about what we think about the dollar itself, check Monday's video. Okay, every Monday, that's our weekly video. That's where I go through every single market in more detail. The video is longer because we go into more detail. So the daily ones are very short, so just talking about the big moves and anything that is it's close to breakout. So let's go back to what we are doing. So euro here, very interesting. I'm not sure what to do because at the moment we are at support. Yeah, we are pretty much testing the 110 area. So if you think it's gonna bottom here, it's a good place to buy. If you want to sell, this is not the place you want to sell. Yeah, that's how it is. Um, so not really, I don't know really what to do, but keep an eye on that euro, the dollar index chart, guys. It looks very, very clean. Yeah. So for euro, for me, not nothing that I can trade with, but we are support. If you start breaking low or even break here yesterday's low, I think then you have to watch the 786 again, which is the 23rd. I think it's Monday, right? So 23rd, yeah, Monday's low. If we start breaking here, especially yesterday's low, okay, that's the era and resistance, guys. It's gonna remain this area here, isn't it? So we are talking here about 1026. That's big resistance for the euro moving up. Cable. I tried to trade this many times, last week, this week, and I have to be honest. It has not be giving me great profits, and if it's not giving me any profit, if of course it's giving me loss. So it's not a market that it's really helping me out. So I'm away, and I think you should be a little bit away, especially now with what happened yesterday, which the court here, the Supreme Court, said that what Boris Johnson did was unlawful. Um, I think that's going to put a bit of risk, and I think we need to watch very closely what he says today, if he says anything, because a lot of people now are thinking that he might push for a general election or just give his position up because of what he did. And for that reason, the pressure is on. And to be very honest, if he continues and really delivers the Brexit with the current mess that they have, I think that is so risky. And I think that's so a lot riskier than what people think. And I think that will affect everything. So that's something that we have to keep in mind um, going forward. Okay, that's what I think on the cable here. So be very careful if you trade. If you trade this, trade smaller. Okay, and key resistance today is going to be this 125.05, so 125 handle support, guys. I will probably say this trend line for today, so around 24.20. But if we do break that, guys, then watch the 24 area. This has been the same area we discussed yesterday anyway. So if we start breaking this area, guys, that's when things start to get very, very interesting, because then I think the pressure is going to be totally to the downside again for this pair. Okay, so keep that in mind for the cable. Dollar Canadian. So the dollar Canadian, guys, look where we found support. Yeah, exactly at the range bottom which we have discussed. I missed the trade. That's why I'm upset with this kind of voice tone right now, because I missed this. I should have left a order there or something. Because this was really late yesterday. I'm very upset I missed this, but at the same time, here we are, and it's too late now to join the boat, because now we are pretty much in the middle of the range again. So keep that in mind. So levels to watch, guys. Has me the range, so has me the range 132.97, so 133 and 132.40 area. Yeah, so those are the only two areas you have to keep in mind on the dollar Canadian. Dollar yen. So look what we drawn yesterday or Monday, I think one of these two, but we drew these 2 arrows together in the live in the webinar, and I told you guys that 107 was key, right? Was key here for this dollar yen. So we are talking here about 107.20. That was the 107, sorry, the 107 handle as key support, and the next one would be around 106.75. And straight away, guys, we are seeing the dollar yen feeling that buying pressure again a little bit. So that's good. So that's the first point that I think I'm noting down. And to let you guys know, I'm long already. Okay, so this pair I was watching very closely. I didn't miss this one. Thanks God for that. But other key points here. Let's quick look bonds, because if you trade dollar yen, this needs to be a market that you're watching. And if I go to the daily chart, I believe we are pretty much testing what was the channel trend line, yeah, which we broke outside, broke inside, and now we're pretty much retesting and very close to the 618. So I think this is the area that if you think bonds needs to find resistance, that is the key resistance. One thing that I'm very happy with is that I have been patient with the dollar yen. I have to say I have really it was very hard for me not to buy a dollar yen before, but I'm very happy that I waited for that 107 push that the market offered us. So very close to the 618 here. And bonds, guys, this is a really, really nice place for bonds here. The US 10-year bonds to really find resistance, sorry. and reverse, and as you can see, really big zone here in the bonds right now. So if bonds reverse here, that's going to give even more power for the dollar yen. Another thing to also note is that while bonds was moving up, let me do here, so let me go compare. Instead of put dollar yen, which is going to be inverted correlated, I will do opposite, so I'll put yen dollar. This way they will be in line, as you can see, so it's easier for you to compare here. So as you can see, they move exactly the same, right? But one thing to note is that while bonds was moving really, very steadily up, dollar yen in size didn't move that much with it, which means that if bonds reverse from here, the dollar yen is going to have more pressure to the downside. So that's good for us that are long dollar yen. Okay, that's one reason. Another reason, equities. So equities yesterday went lower a little bit, which is not great if a long dollar yen. Of course, bonds can help, but at the same time, here we are in the S&P, and let me go to the daily chart. And as you can see, let me delete this line and put another one. Here we go. So we are still at a big support area right now. Of course, we broke that one that we were a few days ago, the smaller one, but still, this here where we are now, it's it's together with this low here, right? And we just broke below that low, to be honest, yesterday, and here we are. So what happens is, if we start to break yesterday's night low, I'll be watching. Let me go back to the daily here. Then I'll be watching this zone that we draw with the 50 moving average there, and then maybe here can give a push. Right, so that's my thinking here. If we break new lows, I'll be waiting for this area of what, 2940 level, somewhere here inside of this box, and then but we can easily hold here. So if we see equity stopping here, and then start getting back to the zone, that's what I want to see. I want the S&P to go back above this 2980 level. That's when then we will probably have a good confirmation that equity is now it's ready to move up a bit. Yeah, so that's the only thing here, that it's not not the good news for dollar yen longs. But if bonds find the top, equities find support, that can be a really good long down dollar yen. So going back to dollar yen, as you can see, we are finding some kind of resistance here. Let me go to the shorter term. Let me go to the 1 hour here. So you can see that we are finding resistance here at key zone. Yeah, so we need to go back above the zone to really confirm that it is ready to go again. And we are here at pivot area right now, which can serve as support. Yeah, like any support that lower than that, I don't think it is. I think we need to use this low from yesterday's night as a reference. So if we see dollar yen breaking yesterday's night low, then you have to target that 75 zone, so 106.75. So keep that in mind. So measure your risk, see how much you can lose. If you don't, if you can't lose more than where your stop loss is, which it can be below this low, then it's better for you to close that position, then open a new one around here. Yeah. But one thing's for sure, we need to get above this zone. So, do stuff like that, and then it's gonna, give a great confirmation. If these lows get taken away, then you need to watch where the S1 is today and where is key support level, and then this might push like that. So that's the thinking here before around this trade. Okay, guys. So we'll leave these as it is so we can check tomorrow. But I really like dollar yen. I really, really like dollar yen. Um, you know, as you can see on the daily, he is so clean, isn't it? Like, really, really clean. Um, you know, this trend line for me, it didn't work that well, which means the market is not looking at much. But as you can see, the market break, retest, and maybe now going back up again, back to the 50 zone, you know, and ready to go again. And don't forget the weekly. Yeah, guys, this is massive here. You know, looks like a first breakout. You know, new low, bounce hard for 4 weeks or so, went lower, retest, correction, and then maybe, you know, this from here can give that push to maybe 112 in the long term. Okay, so that's my thinking here on dollar yen, guys. Let's go dollar Swiss. So this one has been one I have been telling that you know was not clean. But one thing I told you guys was that, you know, we were, and I even drew this circle saying that this was very likely a a first breakout, isn't it? First breakout outside of the range and above this high here. So um, that was a first breakout, and I told you guys that this was a little bit more bearish than bullish. Was not very clean, but was more bearish than bullish, and the cable has been selling off here quite hard right now. Let's have a quick look on cable here. It's getting sold here. Let's go to a 5-minute chart. As you can see, you know, went all the way to 24.80. Now it's at 24.41. So minus 40 pips there or so in few minutes time. So we're talking here about 25 minutes or so. Crazy. Anyway, that shows you exactly what I told you guys. You know, many risks here, and the day just started. So that's one thing to keep in mind. But anyway, going back to the dollar Swiss, guys. Yeah, like I said, I think any move now that we have this great candle confirming, you know, that the pressure it's down. I think any move up here you need to use as a selling opportunity. So, you know, if for no reason this market comes all the way back to 99, I think that's a good area for you to sell. You know, with stop loss maybe at 99.43 or even better around 99 above this high, right? So that's what I would do if this happens. So what does this means for the euro, for example? Yeah. So that means that the euro can go a little bit lower, but then the pressure now for the euro is to go higher, you know, because of correlation. So keep that in mind. You know, the one key thing for the euro for sure is that I'm watching this trend line, and I'm only going to change my bias from range or bearish to bullish only if we have a daily close up of this trend line here, and a really good close, by the way. So that's my thinking behind the euro here, just to give your hands up. Aussie. So the Aussie, um, I'm not too sure what to say. Not sure what to say. But one thing is for sure, we came at resistance, right? Around 68.07, so around the 68 handle. And here we are, guys. So it really depends. So I do believe that going back to the dollar index, so if the dollar index comes back to this high here again, so around 98.73, that means the Aussie will probably be at the lows or even new lows. So if the dollar index breaks that triangle, you know, be away from the Aussie, okay? Be away from the Aussie. Keep in mind that the market is pricing in a cut from the RBA in the next meeting already. So that's why I think this market is a little bit heavier to the downside for now. But like I said, I think there is a great chance now for this to come here if we stop breaking new lows. Yeah. as you can see as well, we went up here, but look how long it took, and now look how long it's taking to go all the way down. It's a lot quicker, isn't it? A lot quicker. So that's one thing to note down um, for the Aussies, which is something that you don't want to, well, okay, to do. So equities here is going down a little bit. So let's have a quick look on the DAX here. This is good, guys. This is good because we are covering live. So as we go, and I see any big moves here, we can already discuss. So we are breaking this trend line here on the DAX here, as you can see. Okay, so this is a good move here on the DAX for now. Yeah, if you look long, this was the chart I posted, via Twitter and in the chat room and other places. We were at a key trend line resistance, right? So I was actually expecting the DAX to break higher because of, what the ECB started to do. But looks like they did a fantastic job, which was to cut, but being a hawkish cut, which is very interesting now with the market. Okay, so that's very interesting. But going back to the Aussie, so equities are going lower, so that's not really good news for the any Aussie longs, right? You need you need equities to be in your side if you're trading commodity pairs. So if the DAX goes down, the pressure now is more to the Aussie to go lower. So that's one thing for you to note down. To be very honest here, so keep an eye on this low, which we made on last week on the 618. If you start breaking that, then I think there is a great chance for us to go all the way to 67.32 or even 67 area. So actually, so around here. So these are the two levels I'll be watching at if we start to break that low. Okay, so that's the Aussie there. Let's go to the Kiwi, and the Kiwi, guys, is a market I was watching yesterday to see if we could again come very close to this trend line here. It never came to close to that, and then here we are. The Kiwi now, it's a little bit stronger than the Aussie, and you can see this straight away from the Aussie New Zealand, right? Aussie New Zealand going lower. But that doesn't mean that I think the Kiwi is going to reverse. I don't think that is the case. Can be, but I think it's too early for us to assume that. Which means that I'm only going to change my bias from being bearish to bullish, maybe, or even range, only if we start breaking, I think, above this zone here around 63, 62, I believe. Big level here on the Kiwi, to be very honest. Only or 61.8, only a close above this zone here for me. It's gonna change my bias on the Kiwi, but while we're still here, I think that the price is still to the downside, and I'm still waiting for that 62 handle. I really hope that the market gets there so I can take a shot. So that's the QE. So resistance here for the QE is going to be around 63, 62. Support here, of course, first one is the 63 handle, which was resistance, right? You can see how many times we failed here. If I go maybe to an hour chart, you can see this in more detail. So you can see here straight away, isn't it? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. And then as we finally broke, you can see a good pop. Maybe a retest and then another pop with the RBNZ tonight. That's why it popped there again, and here we are. So support now 63. Below that, I think then you have to target these lows, and below those lows then 62 handle. Yeah, so good moves here. Euro not doing much. I can go to a 15-minute chart here. Let's have a quick look. So Euro not doing much. around kind of support, right? So just at 110, so very difficult to do anything here right now on the euro. Let's see if the cable, let's see if it starts still sliding. Well, still there, it's still, doing much. I know many people are already calling this as a head and shoulders, guys, but you only calls this a head and shoulders after we start breaking the neckline, and we still haven't done that. So people are saying, something like this, right? Yeah, it can be, but only if you start breaking the neckline. And that, if that really plays out, it's gonna target, it's gonna target the 2250 area, which is not bad at target, I have to say. Good area. You can see here big rejection here, and it's at the 50 level, isn't it? 50 number, which it can be a magnet sometimes for the market. S&P haven't done nothing. Not too sure what DAX is falling that much here. It can be maybe for a German company maybe selling off or something like that, but if I go to the 15 minutes, you can see here the S&P is still holding, not bad. Didn't even tested the low yet, so that's something to keep in mind. There, let's see the DAX here. So the DAX, as you can see, new lows. But let's keep in mind, guys, and be very careful. Selling right now. We still have 1 hour and 12 minutes to go, maybe. On the DAX here, or 12 minutes on the hourly, but keep in mind, if you stop breaking above this trend line again, we can see a good squeeze on the DAX. So try to trade both sides here and see which one offers you, I wouldn't sell now, only if it comes back here again in a kind of a retest kind of move. So sell here, but if I see the market, getting here, then I get that out and then probably buy to see if we can give a powerful move up, which normally does. Let's have a quick look on the FTSE, because really nice day on the FTSE. So really big sell-off yesterday on the FTSE, as you can see, right, from 73.50 all the way to 72.50. 100 pips, 100 points sell off yesterday, so that's very interesting. Oh, and by the way, one big mover yesterday, Bitcoin, right? I was actually trying to, long here. I got stopped out, and here we are. So what is happening here is pretty much what happened before. So what this kind of move here, it's reminding me, it's exactly what we did here, right? Same kind of thing. So triangle, but the only difference is that this here was already in the downside, triangle, downside, so continuation. This one here, this triangle is serving as a reversal formation, kind of, right? So keep that in mind. Last time this triangle played by the point, I think, for the target. As you can see, look, if I measure, this middle move inside of the triangle on Bitcoin, I put it here on the breakout, you can see it was exactly where the low is right now, where that was made. So if I do the same thing here on Bitcoin, it does look like we have a little bit more to go, isn't it? So it's saying that 65 area. So that is one thing to keep in mind. But there is nothing wrong you trying to get long this thing in interesting places. If you look the daily, for example, here, I think where we are right now, it's an interesting place. As you can see, we have the 200 moving average here, which normally Bitcoin respect moving average quite a lot. As you can see in the past, you can do that yourself. Quick look there. And the 1.272 fib extension. So if I use the low of the triangle to the next high, you can see that we stopped there. So that was a nice place for you to do some kind of scalping play. But if it do start breaking new lows, guys, I'll be waiting for that 7,000 and level to come up with. For now, I don't see anything bullish here that you can say, okay, now it's gonna go. But me personally, I will only change now to bullish again if we start going above this area here. Okay, so only a move back above the zone, that's when I change to bullish, like really nicely. So I'm gonna play exactly what I did last time actually. So which was not on the dailies, on the weekly. Yeah, so you can see here this zone on the previous triangle lower, took very long time, and after we broke above it, that's when we exploded to the upside. So I think that you know something very close to that is gonna happen. So you have just to wait. It might take a long time to get above here again, but that's the zone we have to watch, because that then can give you that extra confirmation. The cable is still getting sold here. Look at that, new lows. Interesting, very interesting. Keep in mind that 24.10, guys. Yeah, so pretty much yesterday's low in there. If you start breaking that, then 124. Keep that in mind. Let's see dollar yen. So dollar yen not doing much yet. But really nice support here, as you can see on the 5 minutes, right? 107.18. Really nice place. And I think that's all, guys. I think I covered all the markets. Nothing much more I can say regarding market movers. Oh, we haven't spoke about the gold commodity space. So let's have a quick look on gold before I go. So here is gold, and gold, guys, I think this head and shoulders is pretty much not really going to happen, so I can actually delete this so it doesn't confuse me and you guys, because now it's really long. It's getting a lot longer than the left shoulder, and I think that's enough reason already to think that. Uh, um, Yeah, I'll be watching first this trend line here, the short-term trend line. I think that has been serving as support. I don't think this is it's not a flag for certain. It's too long already. Maybe a channel here. So maybe if we start breaking new lows, then you have to watch today. Around this 1544 area, stuff like that. I think next as a channel resistance. But still very very strong gold, and like I said before, I think it was yesterday, this is moving with the dollar, Chinese yuan, and as long that is still going up, gold will follow. Yeah, gold will follow. So that's one to really keep an eye on. As you can see, they're moving together. So as long that dollar Chinese yuan still remaining to the upside, this gold is gonna continue receiving bits, and that's the Chinese yuan there. So very similar, and the same pretty much, but it's getting close to the 618. That's something to keep in mind. Maybe a new high 618, hit the 618 and then reverse. I don't know, but very clean channel here too, isn't it? Very. So if you start breaking the channel, that's when I think that you should then trade the gold to the downside, in my view. And I think that's it, guys. I think that's all for today. Nothing more else to say. Keep in mind that dollar index chart. Use that one as a timing tool, right? Because if that stop breaking, that's when you want to be in the market. you want to open new positions. But while we are here in the middle of the triangle, that's when you want to avoid trading any dollar pairs, right? That's the main thing here. So so what I want to do is this, or if it breaks lower, you know, that's what I want to do, this. Yeah, guys, and I think that's all for today. Thanks so much for being here. I hope you have a great day. Good luck, and speak to you guys shortly. Have a nice day. Take care, guys.